Today we're going to cover the advanced child tax credit payment and the impact that it can have on your taxes. There's still a little bit of confusion about what it is, if it has to be paid back, or if it should be included in your income at all. Hopefully this example will clear things up, and if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. So in today's example, we have John Doe. He's filing head of household, and he has two boys. So he qualifies for child tax credit because of their ages. I gave him a $50,000 salary and then a $3,500 withholding. Don't get too bogged down in the numbers. We'll cover them and go over them in a little more detail later. I also utilized the standard deduction, obviously for simplicity and presentation purposes. I wanted to keep this a little on the simpler side. So in this example, with that $50,000 of income, filing head of household with two kids, his actual tax for the year is going to be $3,463. That's the total amount of tax that he would owe. However, he had $3,500 of withholding, meaning his employer withheld that amount from his check. And then he also got a refundable tax credit of $6,000 for the kids. This current year, over the age of 6, under the age of 17, under the age of 18, you're going to get $3,000 per kid. In prior years, it was $2,000. And again, we'll cover a little bit more on that in a little bit. So if you look at this example and what this does for his taxes, he's actually going to get a refund in this example of $6,037. That's going to be coming from what the tax owed of $3,463, less what was actually withheld because his employer already sent this over. So there's a $37 difference there. And then he gets also an additional $6,000 refund from the government for the kids. So he's actually going to get a net refund in this example of $6,037. Now, this specific example is focusing on him not getting any advance payments as if we did in prior years. But now we'll go ahead and factor them in so you can see kind of what the difference is going to look like. So if you didn't opt out from the IRS, you should receive, I think it's letter 6419. They're going to start mailing them out late December, early January of 2022. And they're going to show you the amounts that you were actually prepaid. So in this case, for the two children, they're going to be over the age of 6, but under the age of 18. You would have gotten a $3,000 credit in advance. So let's go ahead and factor that in and see what it actually does to our taxes. Okay, so I will put that we received $3,000 in advance. Okay, so let's refresh the form. Okay, we don't need that. So in this example, everything else stays the same. So we still have John Doe. He's still filing head of household. He still has his two boys that qualify for the child tax credit. He still has his $50,000 worth of income. We're still doing the same standard deduction. So the actual tax amount, as you can see, does not change. So you may be thinking like, what's going on? So the actual difference is you still have the normal tax of $3,463. You still have your withholding from the government at $3,500. However, if you notice now, our actual refundable tax credit is down to $3,000. So what they're doing here is they're actually subtracting the amount that you were already given in advance. In this example, you're only going to get $3,037 as a refund, and that's because you received $3,000 in advance plus the $3,037 here. That's going to get you back to that same total of $6,037. So now let's go ahead and show an example which could severely impact your taxes. Let's say that you didn't opt out and you received $3,000 for the two boys, but let's say one of the kids is no longer dependent. Maybe they moved out, they no longer qualified, whatever the reason. Instead of having two boys, you only have one. So let's go ahead and refresh this. So let's go ahead and remove Big Doe. Let's say Big Doe moved out. Okay. And so now let's go ahead and refresh our forms to see what it looks like. Okay, so we still have John Doe. We still have filing head of household because he has a child. But as you can see that we only have one child that qualifies for the child tax credit, and we no longer have the other child. We still have our $50,000 in income, still have our standard deduction of $18,800, and we still have our withholdings at $3,500. So if you can see here, our net tax doesn't change. We still owe $3,463. We still have our $3,500 withholding. So there's still going to be a difference of $37 there. But where you notice a big change is in the refundable tax credit. You see now there's nothing there. And you may be thinking, why is that? Well, that's because you received, the IRS calculated it based off of your old taxes. So they were giving you credit for 2 kids. And so they gave you in advance $3,000. Now, in your current tax situation, you only have 1 child. So you should have only gotten $3,000 in total off of 1 child. So when they do the true up or the calculation, they're just going to say that you don't get any money because you've already been given $3,000 for the 1 child. So in this example, you're actually only going to get a refund of $37. Now, in reality, you would actually have gotten $3,037 for the 1 child plus the difference of the withholding. But now you have to true it up for the kid that's no longer there. There would be an even bigger impact if both dependents no longer qualified. So let's go ahead and show an example of that. So let's say we've already removed big doe. Now we're going to remove little doe. Let's say they no longer live with you, they moved out, etc. Let's go ahead and remove little doe. Okay. And so now we're going to preview the form. Okay. So now things are going to get a little squirrely here. So actually we need to change one more thing. Now we need to change this because now he's no longer qualifying for head of household because he removed both kids. So let's go ahead and see what this does. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and leave the person as head of household, even though that's incorrect because obviously he doesn't have a dependent anymore. But I just, for presentation purposes, want to keep things as an apples to apples so you can see like what it would look like. Okay, so you still have John Doe. We still have him going head of household. We still have his $50,000. We still have the standard deduction of $18,800, which in reality this number would be different because he would be filing single instead of head of household. But for presentation purposes, we'll just leave it as is. So the overall taxes that you owe would be $3,463. However, now you see that there are other taxes, including self-employment tax from Schedule 2 of $3,000. Now, what that number is because you received the advance payment of $3,000 and now you no longer have any dependents at all, you actually have to pay back that entire $3,000. So the total tax that you owe would now be $6,463. Again, that's your actual taxes based off your income, plus the $3,000 that you received for the kids who no longer qualify, bring your total tax bill to $6,463. Now, you've already paid $3,500 through your employer, so the difference between that is what you would actually owe. So you would actually have to submit a check to the IRS for $3,003. Now, there's going to be an estimated tax penalty here, but that's because we underpaid our taxes by a certain amount because of the dependents, but we're not going to get all into the weeds or into the details. There are also instances in which you could have the same number of dependents but still have to pay the money back. That would entail going over the phase outs, meaning your income is higher than what is allowed. I'm not going to go too deep into the weeds, but I just wanted you to know that high income can negatively impact this credit as well. The idea behind the advanced child tax credit was basically to put money in people's pockets faster than waiting on tax time. There could be situations, though, where that money would have to be paid back, but every situation is going to be different. Either way, let me know what you think in the comments. Please subscribe if you like what I'm doing and drop a like on your way out.